Mikrofon kapalı şu an. Kaç şey ayarlamıştın Umut buna?
3000'e ayarlamıştım ama.
3000,
5
tamam,
bilgisayara falan
3000.
kurunca OBS'e unuttum, bir bakabilir misin?
Yok yok, şu an zaten 3000'de veriyor yeşil.
Tamam.
Sıkıntı
3400
yok.
3000 olması lazım. Dediğim gibi ayarları yine de kontrol
Bakın
edersen
bakın
çok iyi
yayın
olur.
geldi mi?
Evet, geldi yayın.
Tamam, şimdi sesimizi açıyorum.
Ama bak tam değil o.
Kaç şey ayarlamıştın Umut buna?
3000'e ayarlamıştım ama.
3000.
Artık toplantıya başlayabiliriz.
Mikrofonu kendinize alıyoruz. Anlat bizi de. Nasıl bir
Herkese merhabalar tekrardan. Sessizlik rica ediyorum. Bundan sonra ajandanın sarkmaması için gerçekten daha sıkı olacağız. O yüzden bunu hep beraber gerçekleştireceğiz. Diyerekten Rules of the Game sunumuna başlıyorum. Merhaba arkadaşlar, ben Rümeysa Keskinoğlu. ESN SOG çıkışlıyım. ESN'deki 5. senem. Şu anda SOS komitesinde Education Editor Officer'ıyım, International Educate Communication Officer'ıyım. Ayrıca 4 komite çalışıyorum. Fun fact'imi birazdan söyleyeceğiz bizlerle beraber. Yüzüğü de al. ESN Haral çıkışlı. ESN'deki 3. senesi. Şu anda ESN'lerin Social Inclusion Coordinatörü Space'de çalışıyor. Orada da Vice Chair. Fun fact'imiz geliyor. Gelecek. Biz Güzde'yle beraber kreş arkadaşız bu arada. Geri gelin. Buradaki benim, buradaki Güzide ama ben bu kızı arıyordum. Şansıma Güzide çıktı. O da ESN'den eski enlerimiz sayesinde birbirimizi bulmuştuk. Şu anda beraber sindirik yapıyoruz zaten burada. 2 Trabzonlu. Gani Şimşek. ESN yılında şu anda WPA, ESN'deki zaten 3 senesi burada doldu. ESN'in WPA, Space'de Sorvating Vice Chair'ı. Fun fact.
Ritim tutamıyoruz.
Ritim tutamıyormuş. Geçiyoruz. Geçtik şu anda. Kurallar. Dakika olalım ve lütfen saatlere uyalım. Ayrıyeten salonlara çıktığınızda geri girmeniz kabul edilmeyecek. Bunu şöyle açıklayacağım. Biliyorsunuz ben ekspertiz CT'ydim ve biliyorum hani birçok ihtiyaç olabilir ama özellikle cumartesi günü öğleden sonra adaylık sunumları yapılacak. O seanslarda crash and run dahil giren çıkan giremeyecek. Şu anda sadece crash and run'larda giriş çıkış olabilecek. Sunum esnasında çıkan insanlar geri giremeyecekler. Çünkü sunum yapanlara saygı duymanız gerekiyor. Ayrıyeten zaten biliyorsunuz coffee breaklerimiz ve break breaklerimiz var. Bu saatlerde lütfen salonu çıkartalım çünkü hala Covid devam ediyor. Hava alması gerekiyor. Ve lütfen dışarı çıkarken çöplerinizi atalım. Biliyorsunuz zaten hani bardaklar verildi ve o yüzden herhangi bir yerde bir çöp görmek istemiyoruz ki o sinizde tekrardan şey olmasın. Ayrıca biliyorsunuz speaker listimiz vardı. Sabahleyin size Forms'a giriş yaptınız mı demiştim. Sunumlardan sonra olacak question answer roundlarda sadece oraya yazılmış sorular okunacak ve yazdığınızı aynen okumanızı istiyorum. Çünkü bu toplantı sonrasında bir de bunun raporu yazılacak. Ve sekreterimi bu konuda üzmek istemiyorum çünkü rapor yazmak gerçekten zor bir durum. Ve onun için de lütfen speaker list için buraya geldiğinizde question answer round'da adınız, soyadınız ve ESN şubeniz demeniz gerekiyor. Ayrıca yaka kartınızla beraber gelin lütfen. Ve benim gibi mikrofona bağırmayın. Eğer biliyorsunuz bazı sunumlarda süre kısıtlaması oldu. Bunu zaten sunum sahiplerine söylemiştik. Ve bu konuda lütfen hani ekstra süre talep etmeyin bizlerden. Süreniz bittiyse bitmiştir. Zaten biz sizlere 1 ve 3 dakika kala haber vereceğiz. Onun için de kağıtlar hazırlandı zaten. Ve biliyorsunuz soru cevaplar yapılıyor ve bizim kısıtlı bir süremiz var bunu cevaplamak için. Lütfen cevabınızı tekrarlamayın. Ayrıca her zaman zaten Code of Conduct'ı düşürerekten saygı çerçevesinde ilerleyelim. Sessizlik işareti zaten biliyorsunuz ESN'in 2 yer yukarıda şekilde. Bence şu an gösterebilirsiniz zaten hepiniz. Bir tanesi zaten bir parmak ağzında prosedür, 2 tanesi de reaksiyon. Kafe breakler zaten hepimizin çok önemli. Öncesinde ESN alkışı var. ESN alkışını Teşekkür ederim. Sunumlarda lütfen sadece yazım akışını kullanalım. Kafe breaklerde sosyalleşelim ve lütfen sunumlar yapılırken uyumayalım. Aranızda konuşmayalım ve telefona sürekli bakmayalım. Çünkü burada birisi sunum yapıyor ve herkesi görüyor. Sorunuz var mı? 3 dakikada soracağım şey var. Yok. Teşekkür ederim. O zaman
Otuzun insandan atmayın olursunuz. Tamam, geçsin.
arkadaşlar biliyorsunuz ki şu anda aramızda international guestler de bulunuyor. Bunun için çeviri işlemleri yapılıyor. O yüzden biz ayrıyetten bir İngilizce konuşmaya geçmeyeceğiz. Ama sunumunu İngilizce yapmak isteyenlere biz yapma demeyeceğiz. Hani istediği dilde herkes yapabilir sunumları. Bu o kişilere kalmış bir durum. Diyerekten Deniz Hızlı'yı, saygıdeğer ellerimizi Batı CS'den sunum yapmak için sahneye davet ediyorum.
Hello, how are you? Fine, good. I'm fine, thanks. Okay, so since we have international guests, I will talk about a bit about GSM Turkey as well, and maybe we have some newbies today here, because my first NA was actually in Izmir, the spring one, so maybe we can have some new volunteers here, and we will give some background information about GSM for them as well. Okay, so ESM was formed in 1989 by 32 former Erasmus students in Utrecht, Netherlands. So they went on mobility and saw that there are some difficulties in the adaptation process and etc. So they decided to establish the first ESM section in order to help next generations. And then in this way, ESM started. So the vision, which I don't know by heart, I have to read it. By 2025, ESM will be the global network of the Erasmus generation, committed to improving international education and providing self-development opportunities to 2 million young people, fostering intercultural understanding and creating positive change in society. And our mission, enriching the society through international students. And these are our values. Maybe you all know them, and we have to shape our events and projects having in mind these values. The causes of ESM, of course, we've been talking about this in every meeting and every training. Maybe we are tired of them right now, but still. I have to mention them. So we have education and youth, we have culture, social inclusion, health and well-being, skills and employability, environmental sustainability. And we are trying to shape our events and projects having in mind these causes. And of course, we tend to not only focus on one of the causes of for each event, etc., but we try to encompass all causes in one, as long as it is possible. ESM structure, so we have unfortunately 38 sections right now in Turkey, and each section has an LR, and we gather in the Council of Local Representatives, CLR, and each section has a local board as well, and these local boards are represented in the National Assembly right now here, and the National Assembly is represented by the National Board, consisting of 7 members. And we have national board structures: education officer, event responsible, CLR administrator, calls coordinator, ESM business coordinator, and HR coordinator. The first section was ESM E2, founded in 2005. And now the international structure, you can see the sections, they all gather in NOs, so ESM Turkey is an NO. And they respectively have their national boards. And these national boards are represented at the GA, the General Assembly, and we have international board representing the GA. And of course, the international board is not alone in this process. The governments and the coordination of the whole network, of course, they need some help. And we have Audit Commission, which is a parallel version of the Board of Auditors that we have. They have project teams, liaison officers, spelling mistake there, arbitration board, and of course they are supported by the Secretariat in Brussels. And the whole Erasmus generation comes together at EGM that we had for the first time this year in Portugal. And right now this is the map of ESL. Only, I think, Lithuania should move here. And because of the last amendment that was approved, we are available in 41, we are present in 41 countries right now with more than 30,000 volunteers. So, about ESM Turkey, we were established in 2006. This is the map of the sections that we're located. Some of them should be gray right now, unfortunately. We are present in 15 cities right now, 14 cities right now. And we have 3 big cities, Istanbul with 15 sections, Ankara with 5, and Izmir with 4. Of course. Okay, our national partners, I won't go into detail because Vanessa will kill me. And these are the national partners that we have, if you want to take a picture and so on. Of course, our most important national partner is the national agency, and we have several commercial partners as well. Okay, this is the national board, my lovely boardies, consisting of 7 members. They will have their updates afterwards. And the board supporters right now, we have 3 vacant positions, unfortunately, and the board of auditors. Yes, national committees. We have space, strategy and project committee working together with the president. It's more or less like ICE, but they tend to focus on educational projects and also trying to shape the strategy of ESM Turkey, and also they're searching for grants and etc. We have NetCom, parallel to NEC. Here we talk about section cooperation, network management, and overall communication between the sections and volunteers. And analysis, of course. We have FTC, Financial Development Committee, all financial stuff going on here, like budget management, and they had also a crypto team before, and still. International Strategy Committee working with the NR, so we are looking a little bit outside of the network, trying to implement some best practices to our network and helping our sections in their application process to get some award section, spotlight, etc. So trying to make our network more visible. Then we have PRCom working with the CM, and of course they try to shape the visual identity of ESM Turkey and trying to following the sections if they follow the VIM or not, and so on, and also coordinating all social media channels. We have web team, of course the satellite and the website of ESM Turkey and other events websites are under their control. We have Statute and Standing Orders Committee working with the Board of Auditors, so they have 2 teams, audit team and legal team, and they're trying to shape and better our statutes and standing orders, and also adding some new non-statutory documents in order to improve the work of the network. And new committee, we have IFCO, Events Committee, and now Tuce has 2 committees, Vice President. Maybe we need a second Vice President as well, I don't know. And this is our network. Of course, we have new members every semester, every year. International committees, so basically they are parallel to the national ones. We have NEC, a parallel version of NetCom, ICE as SPACE, FICO for FTC, COMCOM as PRCom, and ITCom, a parallel version of WebTeam. And ESM meetings, let's start with national ones. So we have 3 national assemblies, 4 national assembly, section presidents meeting where we amend our statutes and standing orders, and right now, as we are all here, Spring National Assembly. The international ones, we have regional platforms. ESM Turkey is part of SEEP, Southeastern European Platform. We have 2 GAs, Autumn GA and Spring GA, and Erasmus Generation Meeting. Of course, there are a lot of trainings as well, but I won't mention them right now. Okay, so these are some photos from our NA Artemis, which was in Bolu, SBM, which was in Bolu. And this was from the previous NA, which was in Sakarya. Afterwards, on the what's the ESM presentation, we will add Izmir as well. National trainings, we have ESM 101s in 4 regions, Istanbul, Ankara, Izmir and Akdeniz, as long as there is OC for the region. But we also organize online version as well for those who couldn't attend the training. We have ESM 201s as well. We will have for the first time offline this year, thanks to our HR coordinator. Thank you, Aydin. And we have also field-related, like specific trainings. We have COM 101, board race for CMs, or for those who want to know more about the communications and the brand identity of ESM. And we have Web 101 for sections website management. And we have one more this year, which was SOS 1001. Or the statues and standing orders, and also other fields inside there. We have Unplugged, which you can guess from the name. We unplug ourselves from ESM as long as it is possible. If it's not, of course, but we'll still do our best. It's an open air, so we have some soft skill trainings there, and maybe the previous board started more or less like an informal transition to the new board, maybe. So it's a nice team building activity going on there. We had alumni talks and money talks as a financial training, let's say. National projects. This year we had Boost Your Energy, a speaking club coordinated by our project manager, Shema. And we had an 8-week speaking club with children living in Adana. And they haven't been abroad before, so we tried to introduce them with international guests. There are ESMers in the network and also Erasmus students who have been in Turkey or want to come to Turkey. So we had an 8-week experience adventure with them. It was really fun, and in the end no one wanted to end, but it ended. And we had all different, all equal, with the motto "One Light, Different Shines" with Funyat. If you know them, Fenerbahçe Fan Club or something translated in English, I'm not sure. And we had a nice day with them. We had Erasmus students in Istanbul, and we had a workshop from He for She Turkey about gender equality. We also had a stadium tour in Istanbul too, and then an afternoon tea with them. And another national project is Successful Experience Conference, which is for people who have certain disabilities but want to go abroad. So we try to promote this and gather people who have been abroad on Erasmus Mobility or other student mobility to share their experiences with the ones who have some fears. So that's why we organize this event. We had flash forwards. This is for people who still have fears, not certainly disabilities or so, but just maybe they are afraid of some stigma, some stereotypes abroad, maybe racism, gender inequality, etc. So we tried to break this. We had an analysis form sent to people so that they can fill in it, so that we can learn their fears and concerns. And then we had an online event, a 2-day online event, where we tried to break those stereotypes. We had experience sharing, and we just tried to motivate people to go on mobility, regardless of their fears and concerns. And about national events, we had grand welcome parties. We will have this semester in the end grand farewell parties, and also at the end of each semester we have grand farewell parties. Grand Halloween in the first semester, New Year block party in Istanbul on the New Year's Eve. And these events are organized in the 3 big cities, Istanbul, Ankara and Izmir. We had Madness in the first semester in Antalya, Alanya. And we had 2 grand capability trips both the first semester and the second semester. And for the first time, we had a brand new event, the Ice Fest in Eskişehir, Uludağ, Bursa. So it was a snow adventure there. And we had gymnasts 1 week ago. And how many people? Yeah. Was it good? It was my first gymnast, maybe not the last one as well. But it was good experience. So we had a nice picture with the OC there. Thank you very much for your efforts again. And this is the SM. Thank you. Do I have time to play this video or not? With the old logo song, you know, but still.
Win at work by communicating effectively with Grammarly. Meet Todd. He is emailing a difficult client. I think we should.
Still ESM. We are there.
You solve problems. That's how you move. We are not the same. We are different. All of us. Yet we are united in working for the same cause. It all starts with Erasmus. That's the origin. When we take the first step abroad into the unknown and leave behind everything we know. It may sound funny, but in this separation, we are truly coming together. We forgot about those differences. We were curious for each other as who we are. We understood that difference is not a reason for division after all. We were united in diversity. This experience keeps us going for a long time. It makes us stronger to face the issues of an unknown future. We are not asking anymore what we can get, but rather how we can contribute. That's how you solve problems. That's how you move forward. There was a moment in history when a group of homecoming Erasmus students joined forces to help their local exchange students. A new era began back in 1989 when the Erasmus Student Network was born. Over the course of 25 years, the initiative of only one group of students has grown to become what is now the biggest student organization in Europe. We are at hundreds of universities all across Europe, helping hundreds of thousands of students every single day. We are the Erasmus generation. We are the first generation of Europeans. It is the first time in history that we are all united in one network. It is our time, and we act with one vision for the enrichment of society through international students. Our movement influences the decisions of European politicians that will not only affect us, but also millions of students in the generations to come. Yet, at the end of the day, it's not just about the big decisions on the international level. From the international to the local level, everything is connected. That's a network. The big decisions make change possible, and what brings the mightiest change are the smallest acts of students helping students. Every day, at home, on the local level, we are uniting different people. That's what we work for, all across Europe. This is moving Europe together. This is the movement of the Erasmus Student Network. This is ESN. That we are moving Europe.
Deniz'e hızlı sunum için teşekkür ediyorum. Ve şunu belirtmek istiyorum ki gerçekten 3 sene önce biz burada bir toplantı daha yapmıştık. Ve tamam söyleyeceğim BK'cığım, yapma. Şimdi tekrardan bu videoda toplantıya başladığınız için çok mutluyum. Diyerekten we have one presentation from ESN ASBL and it's time for seeing what's happening in Brussels and you know. How is everyone feeling? Good? That was very low. Come on, you can be loud. Great. Yes! Well, while we're waiting for my presentation to load, I can tell you my life story if you want to. I joined the ESN. I think that would be difficult to follow Dennis in your presentation because it was pretty good. Also, it was really impressive to see everything that you do. I mean, I said in the beginning that ESN Turkey has been doing an amazing job for years, and you just continue to amaze me every time I hear about your projects. Just congratulations, all of you. But now it's about me. No, it's about ESN. I know that for a lot of people, especially maybe those who are only on the local level, ESN International is this big, like, okay, yeah, there are these weird people in Brussels doing things. And there are some weird people in Brussels doing things. I'm not going to deny that's not true. But I'm going to introduce you a little bit to these people in Brussels who are doing stuff that you might not always be aware of, but like the video also says, there are decisions that we make because you tell us that we need to make them, and then they actually make people change their minds, and they make the Commission change the Erasmus Plus program and introduce incentives, and they try to make the program better because you helped us tell them to do so, so thank you. But who are we? This is the current International Board of ESN. This is me. This is what I look like after like 30 minutes of makeup and 3 hours of Photoshop. Thank you. And these are my colleagues. This is what we look like literally like twice a year. Most of the time we look a little bit like this. So Juan's really dead because he slept 2 hours because he was coming from some conference. Paula is also dead because she had like 3 meetings that day. Yanka is trying not to have the whole thing crash down because IT. And I'm just trying to keep everyone awake. So this is us, and who are we actually? Juan, who here has been at SIP in Bulgaria? Has Juan tried talking to you in Turkish? There you go. Juan is our president. He's in charge of making ESN look good in front of institutional stakeholders. He goes to all these meetings. He is honestly carrying a big burden of ESN on his shoulders because he's representing all of us. So he's representing all 15,000 of us, and he's making sure that he has to know everything. Like he has to know literally what's happening in every single country. I do not know how his brain works. It's really amazing. Juan, personally, has done his Erasmus in Istanbul. That's why he is so weird about the sustenance. Arkadaş. He is from north of Spain, but he actually part of SMYRNA originally. And he's also done European Solidarity Corps. He eats a lot. If you've been to SIP, you've seen him eat everything. And if you should be lucky that he's not here, because he would be eating your food. And that's a big problem in our board in general. Improvise or adapt. This is Paula. She's our vice president. She is from Cluj-Napoca in Romania. She has a lot of things on her plate. She takes care of all of these fields, which is why we decided to change the position of vice president, and from next year we're going to have 2 vice presidents, because I think every vice president knows that it's too much, honestly. Paula doesn't like the fact that Juan is stealing the food from her fridge. And her last name is Pop, and she will always say that she loves pop culture, and she really does. She loves all the shows, all the music and everything. She's really into makeup and glitter. If you ever go to a party with her, she will put glitter on you. Just a fair warning, if you don't like it, then stay away from Paula. And she's lived in 5 countries, which is pretty impressive. That's me. Again, half an hour of makeup and 2 hours of Photoshop. I'm the communication manager, so I make sure that the ESN looks good, as us CNs like to say, hashtag make it pretty. I take care of everything communications related, and I have amazing people working with me, because that's just, I can't do everything alone. I'm only one tiny person. Nina is not my real name, as people have already said. My name is actually Nicolina. I'm never in the ESN house, actually, because I'm always just away. So I don't have any food that Juan can steal from me, which is why I'm always just giving him food, because I don't have a habit of shushing him away. I've actually been living in Brussels now for 2 years, because I did European Solidarity Corps in ESN in 2020, 2021. I'm going to talk about that a bit later. And I'm a big fan of reading, I'm a big fan of traveling, like everyone is, I think, in ESN. And I don't think anyone, and I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, but I'm obsessed with Istanbul. I've been there 3 times, it's my favorite city in the world. I will never shut up about it, and I never shut up about it. So, like, every time anyone on my Instagram says, I'm going to Istanbul, anyone has any recommendations? It's Nina time with 30 recommendations. So yeah. And last one, but not least, is Bianca. She's also from Romania, so as you can see, very strong presence of Sikh. We do bring Sikh in it down. She's the IWPA, IT responsible. She does all of these things that I don't know what they mean. Basically, I just go to her and say, Bianca, can you do this? I don't know what's happening. And then she does it. So yeah, she's from Romania. She's the first female WPA, I don't know how many years, and the shortest one, actually, in like 10 years. So in the ESN house, there's like this shelf at the very top that used to always belong to WPAs, because all of them were like super tall. And then, yeah, Bianca is like a bit shorter than me, so that doesn't work for her anymore. She's super skilled, as you can see. That's her assembling a dresser for Paolo's room. She takes care of the house, because none of us want to deal with that, and she has literally a spreadsheet for everything. I was buying a phone like 3 months ago, and she sent me a spreadsheet with like 40 recommendations, and I was like, I just need like 3, it's fine. What the board does in Brussels is have a lot of meetings, of course, with each other, with other structures, with our director. This is Wim. He is the one who's overseeing the work of the ESN's headquarters, and he's very, very invaluable to us, because he always also gives us advice and guides us. But we also do some fun stuff. It's not just boring meetings and strategy meetings. We tend to go to events, we tend to travel, eat lunches together, and then just laugh about what's happening in our lives, or just randomly go to Utrecht for one night to have a party with ESN the Netherlands, because they invited us, and it's like 2 hours away, so why not? But we also have some adventures that are not so much fun. So if anybody wants to hear later about how a window of a bus crashed on Juan, I can tell you, that was fun. We all live together, the board, in the ESN house. I think everybody knows that it's like a legendary, mystical place. It's here. We have a little logo on the door, which is actually quite useful, because sometimes I also get lost, even though I've lived here for like 6 months. But I don't know, where's the logo? The 4 of us live here, and also there are a couple of interns and European Solidarity Corps volunteers that live with us as well. So there's like 7 people plus partners, like boyfriends and girlfriends live with us as well. The ESN house is quite big. It's like one of these big. It was this big city house. It's like 4 floors, so it's not like a small cramped house. Don't think like we're weirdos sleeping in the same room or something. That's only when we have big meetings. So it's very big. We used to host meetings there, but because it's kind of crumbling now, we stopped doing that. It's really not sustainable for the house, and also because now the teams are bigger and everything, so it makes no sense. This thing comes from consultations about the action plan. As you see, the treasurer of ESN Netherlands wanted to know what's going to happen with the ESN house, because our contract is running out next year. And we were like, yeah, like we can't, the house is a mess. We have a cleaning lady coming every 2 weeks, but we're all pigs, so it really doesn't help. So yeah, we do need to clean it more often. Yes. So we also work in Brussels. We don't just live there, we also work there. We have the office, and every time we do go to the office, which hasn't been so often because of the pandemic, we take Metro Line 5 direction Erasmus. I'm not kidding. It says there. It's a legit thing. I don't know whose idea it was to get the house on a Metro Line 5 direction Erasmus, but it's just such an amazing coincidence. Also, the avenue, when you leave the metro stop, is called Avenue of Volunteers. It's just magic, honestly. Like, it was fate, I think, for us to live there. So, the ESN office is situated in the EU corridor, or the European district, however you want to call it. The European Commission is like 100 meters from us. DG ERAC, which is where Erasmus Plus program is managed, is also down the street. So right there in the heart of all the important stuff. The link, you can't see it, but there's like a weekly link to ESN office tour if you want to see what it looks like. Or if you're ever in Brussels, you can just come knocking on our door to have a tour. We also work there with 2 other organizations that we share the big building with. This is the inside of the office. This is from the last IB alumni meeting. And this is the baby board right here. And this is the headquarters. So like I said, like also Dennis said, it's the board working together. There's the 4 of us, and also all 4 of us merged into a treasurer. Thank you, Ivan, for coming to save us next year, because we're not doing well. We're doing a good job, but we're us not doing well. Because if I have to make another financial decision, I'm going to lose it. I just don't know. You tell me 3 numbers and I forget them 30 seconds later. Anyway, so this is the headquarters. So each person has a department that they're kind of in charge of. There's policy, HR and training, business and finance, communication and IT, and we have some people working here. Paula, Celine, Alexander, Shadoub, Sabri, Gorka and Annie are full-time employees, including Selene and Wim, who are director and office manager, so they don't really belong to any department, and they're all full-time employees. So they just work there, they get paid to do ESN, and it's pretty cool. All the other people are actually interns or volunteers. So they are actually here with us for 6 months to 1 year, and they also get kind of paid to do ESN, but through internships, so it's also pretty cool. And this is actually something that might interest you the most. It's the opportunities that you have as well, so it's open to literally anyone who wants to do it. We have European Solidarity Corps, which is another mobility program that you can go for like up to 12 months to do it. We have 3 positions for it. We have Culture and Policy Assistant, which works with the President, Communication Assistant, which works with me. It's also what I did in ESN as well for a year, and it was honestly the best experience of my life, even though it happened in the middle of the pandemic. And training. We opened these calls in January, February, and we're actually going to open one for policy like this month, in the coming weeks. So if anybody's super interested in policy and wants to work in the EU policy and how education works and go to some meetings with other organizations, this is a job for you, I guess. And then we have also Erasmus Plus traineeship. This one is for communication and media and digital marketing. So if marketing or design, photography is stuff that interests you, then these are for you. These are minimum 6 months, but some people have stayed like 10, 11 months with us if their universities allow that. So keep checking out our website. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I also worked in the office for a year. I really, really loved it. I'm not just saying that now because I'm the boss or whatever. It was really the coolest thing ever. The office is, I think every person who has worked in the office will tell you that it is the best office to work in. My friend who was an intern last year, she keeps whining about it because she now has a corporate job and she hates it. She's like, please take me back. So we do have a lot of fun stuff. We do like, this was from our team building here. This is a meme that, does anybody know Ejem here? She's from this section, I think. This is a meme that she made when we had the Erasmus Plus app conference, and Sabri, our communication officer, was stressing the hell out. And this is Ejem just being Ejem, sending Comic Sans emails. So yeah, we have a lot of fun together. We have these fikas, we have team buildings, we have lunches in the park. It's quite cool. And that's us. Like I said, you can keep track of esn.org/careers to see any openings for internships or for full-time employments if you are an EU citizen, unfortunately. They wanted to offer me a job, and then they realized they can't because they don't have the money. So that was super sad. So I feel you, I'm also an EU citizen, so internships are still good. So yeah, keep track of that, keep track of jobs for ESNers, and I hope maybe one of you joins us soon. So thank you, that's it. If you have any questions, you can always ask.
And you can say the link in the WhatsApp group, and you can ask a question from speaker list first, and you can ask a question directly from here. It's up to you for right now, because we have limited time. And I think you have some questions because we have ESN and SPL here actually directly.
Yes, you can really ask anything. It can be about ESN in general, it can be about what we talked about, or anything really. It can be about what's my favorite fairy Taylor Swift album. I have opinions of them too. Or what's my Hogwarts house, I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't know.
Hello, I'm Rick from Turkey. I'm curious about this and what I want to learn about it more. So, about this internship and stuff, when do you do open calls and how do you accept people? What is the process?
Okay, thank you so much, Ivan, for your question. So, we have a couple of openings throughout the year. For European Solidarity Board, as people say, usually for a year, we got to open a call. Right now, I think they should be like February, March, April, that we're opening them, and for communication and traineeship, and for the policy one, it's, actually now, they have to open a new call soon because the current assistant is leaving. And for traineeships, they're usually like 6 months, maybe longer. And we always share them, sometimes in the mailing list, sometimes we share them in jobs for centers. If you're not in that group, join in. It's a really good group if you're looking for employment opportunities or just internship opportunities. And it's a Facebook group, by the way, not a WhatsApp group or something. And how we do is that usually we do it through the Erasmus Intern platform or the European Solidarity Core platform. So people send their applications there, and then we go through all of them, and then we invite people for interviews, where we just, if ask them the classic job questions, like, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what do you expect from this opportunity, and then we just see who works best for us, and maybe time-wise. Sometimes it's not just about timing, sometimes it's about maybe who we think could contribute more, maybe who could stay maybe longer or something like that. It really varies, but we've had a lot of new centers come in, we've had a lot of non-new centers come in, so it's also open to people who are not in the network. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Do you have any question?
What's your favorite Taylor album?
Yes! Okay, so when I first started listening to Taylor Swift, it was 1989, because that was the one that I started listening to first. But honestly, I think I would say Folklore now, because Evermore is amazing, but Folklore really came to me in the right time. There was the pandemic and everything. Girl was going through stuff, okay? So I think it's good. Although Evermore is right there, and then it's Red, I think, the Taylor's version.
Yeah.
In addition of this question, did you like the release version or original version? And this last question about that.
I think Taylor's version, right?
I think it's gonna be Taylor's version, just because, well, it's also like an ethical part of it. You want to support her because she's getting her music back. But also because she has all of these previously unreleased songs. I mean, all too well, 10-minute version. Just, I'm gonna cry, So yeah, I think all the Red Taylor's version, all the vault tracks are just chef's kiss, Sorry, I have a lot of thoughts on Taylor Swift, it's crazy.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to our math. I don't know if you're right.
So I'm going to ask you about, this is your first National Assembly in Turkey, but how was your the very first National Assembly? Do you remember it? And how did it initiate the journey that took you to the international board?
Girl, this is a very good question actually, because I have the perfect answer for this. We didn't even plan this, I didn't ask him to ask this. So my first National Assembly was of course based in Serbia. It was summer of 2016. I know I'm old. I just got elected for local board a month and a half before, and I got elected, I don't even know how, because I was a candidate or something. I had no idea what I was doing. My presentation when I was running, I didn't even use the ESN template. Like, I know, because I didn't know that it existed. And I was a communication manager, you know? It was so embarrassing. It's just not there. It's like, anyway. So I went to the National Assembly, like, I got elected in June, July, and I went there in August. And I was like, this happening here, you know? I'm so sad. Like, there was only like 2 of us for the board. The president wasn't there. It was me and the social Erasmus coordinator or something, and both of us were completely clueless. I was like, however, it was quite fun because I met all these people from our network that I didn't know before. And also at that assembly, it just happened that at the moment, the girl who was the treasurer of ESN International was there, and she was from Serbia. So she did this presentation about her recent career and how it started and where she is now, and like how did she develop all these skills. And I was sitting there being like, I am stupid. Because like, why didn't I join ESN sooner? You know, like she's from Serbia, she's like me. There's like nothing. You know, she's not. We always think like, oh, only people who are like from these countries they do these things. We can't do that or whatever. Because we always have to put ourselves down. And I was thinking like, she's not like better than me. You know, like I can do that. So that was like the first moment when I was like, no, I can do more things in ESN. And then I never stopped doing things in ESN. So yeah, that's the answer. So it really motivated me to like continue doing things, and every other meeting that I went to was just the same. So I don't know if I'm going to leave this next year, but we'll see. They're probably going to drag me out of the house or something.
So
Mikrofonu bekleyebilir miyiz?
Okay, hello, Maggie from Assemblies University. Firstly, thanks for the presentation. I'm curious about the strategies of IB, about the non-EU sections, and how IB is trying to support the sections who are not EU. Thank you.
Oh, this is a GA question. I think you're asked one question about it, so what is this? No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's actually a very good question, and I think the previous board started doing this, but because of the pandemic it stopped, so it is something that we plan to revive, either us personally or like to push on the next board. But literally right before the pandemic started, the Diana and Costas, the previous treasurer, they went on these study trips on the Western Balkans countries, Bosnia, Albania, Serbia. They went to Ukraine, I think, as well, if I'm not mistaken, or we were supposed to. But we got and talked about it in that they came, and then the pandemic started. So they started doing this just now connected to institutional partners. So what ESN International can do is always give more credibility to non-EU sections by going to these study visits, to meetings, important stakeholders and partners of these sections. So also what we did now after the GA, for example, was Juan and Paolo went to Slovenia, because ESN Slovenia has been struggling for quite a while now. I mean, they went from like seven sections, country that's organizing like AGMs, to a country that is basically dead, and has been quite so for years now. So they went there to meet with universities to see how they can revive the country. And this is something that we plan to do more going forward as well. So for example, we're going to come to Turkey for the GA. So the idea is, if you have a chance, also you give us a chance, is to go and meet some important stakeholders. So the national agency goes to this in Switzerland as well. We went there for the MPT, we went to the national agency, discussed some strategies, some plans. So from that side, the institutional support that we can provide, we're giving kind of like, okay, for some people that means a lot. So that's something that we can give, but also speaking from a communication side, what I wanted to do last year, for example, is also give visibility to the works of partner countries, so also to support some countries that are not full members of the Erasmus Plus program and to promote mobility going there, so something like that. So visibility and institutional support.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your wonderful presentation. I had so much fun and wonderful energy. I have 2 questions for you. So you're in a really prestigious position. I'm assuming there was quite a lot of competition before and quite a lot of rivalry. I want to ask you, the first question is, I want to ask you, what do you think made you ahead of the other candidates? And second, how do you keep a low, stable stress level?
I just want to address the first thing, you're in a prestigious position. I know it looks like that, but you should see that the basement of the ESN house, there is nothing prestigious about that. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, so last year I was the only person running for a position in the IB that had an opponent from Turkey, Sami. So yeah, he was, I love him so much, but it just happened. I don't know what it was that made people swing my way or the other way. I think what gave me a bit of an edge was the fact that I had headquarters experience. Because I worked in headquarters for a year before, and I spent 2 years working closely with the IB, so I had a bit of a different perspective on how communications are done because I worked in the headquarters quite intensely, I should say. So, I think it was that. I don't think, like I said, I think back then as well, when it comes to Sami and me, whoever would have got elected with the international level would have thrived anyway. It was just, it happened to be me, so I get to go to events like this, and it's super nice. And when it comes to stress levels, I think personally for me is, this is gonna sound so lame, but I have a boyfriend in Brussels, and he really drags me away from work whenever he can. He's in the center, so he understands when he needs to let me, work until 2 in the morning, and when he needs to tell me, okay, no, you're not gonna have a meeting at 9 p.m. So that really helps. The rest of the board doesn't. Well, they're gonna have now, but so maybe their significant others will force them to chill a bit, and I do keep telling them that. So yeah, I think it's that. And I also, to be honest, I got a really good advice from my housemate the year before when I was working in the headquarters. She also had a very, very stressful job in consultancy and all of that, and she came back from Christmas break like super chill after like stressing for 3 months, and she was like, yeah, I realized we're not saving lives here, so. And honestly, that's also something that I keep thinking, like, we're helping, but we're not saving lives. So it's fine if I take a nap.
Okay, thank you so much.
I think we don't have any more days.
Nina, thanks for your presentation. And I have a question about your lovely committee, COMCOM. Can you give us more information about this?
Look at the self-plug right there from the communication. Shameless. This is what communication is about, just like promotion. So yes, as Dennis was saying earlier in his presentation, we have 4.5 committees, because FICO has been non-active for quite a while, not officially then, just non-active. So we have these committees that you can join depending on the skill, on things that you're interested in, or skills that you want to develop. Mine is, of course, communication committee. It consists, I think it's the biggest committee in the network, if I'm not mistaken. It has literally people from like the entire Europe, I'm pretty sure. And it's a really good opportunity to join if you want to, well, first of all, work in an international environment, learn how to communicate with different people from different cultures, because trust me, it is different. I once messaged this girl from Luxembourg, Belgium, something like that, and I just wrote, hey, I need this information. She was like, well, hello to you too. And I was like, girl, I'm busy, I don't have time for chit-chat, But for some countries, you learn that it's important to write, hey, how are you, or is everything okay, and then to ask the question. But like, I'm Balkan, it's like, straight to the forehead. So anyway, so it's a very good thing to learn about that. Also, like how the remote teams work, how to have meetings at weird hours, how to navigate all of this. And especially, like, I think since internationalization, globalized world, it's a very, very good opportunity. But in general, I think any team that you join in ESN is a good opportunity to develop your skills. And the same thing goes for COMCOM. So yeah, I think my advice always have been and will be to ESNers, because it was advice that I gave to myself, was as long as you have things to learn that you want to learn, just grab those opportunities, because they come not so often later in life. So just take them now and just explore everything you want, because who knows, maybe you'll have a complete change of career path just because you decided to join a random team in ESN. So.
Do you have like a second one?
Okay, I'm gonna shout because I have no choice. But I just have one question. What do you think that would be
For me, or
you or
ESN in general?
You or Audit, like, what do you think that was the biggest difference?
Jesus, then like, I've done too many things. Okay, like, the first thing that comes to my mind now, I don't know, okay, biggest contribution, I can't say one thing, because the thing with ESN, and I don't know if you noticed it yourself, but you do so many little things that you don't think matter, or just like, there are passing things that you do, like you share this survey, or you post this article or whatever, but one by one they kind of pile up and they add something that changes something. So for example, I worked on the SEAM report, which is about social inclusion, impact, and mobility, and it was this big project that is still ongoing in ASM, and I worked on designing the report. And it's just like a minor thing that I did that I worked for like until 8 in the morning I was working on it, and it's like, seems like a minute thing, but then you think that the Commission actually used the SEAM report to write the program guide for the Erasmus Plus program, or the fact that MEPs, so members of the European Parliament, are now using those same recommendations that we wrote, thanks to your input, and they're advocating for, better, like more top-ups or this and that in the Erasmus Plus program. And it's just, I just need a guide, I didn't even I just made things pretty, and that's something that it's not a major thing, but that's for me in the end is the biggest, the biggest reward. And also just the small things, the fact that my friend from Moldova managed to find an apartment in Novi Sad like this just because I was calling people and that was it. Even little things like that, so I love that.
I think we have come great for right now, and also thank you for your answers. And also, if you have more questions, you can ask during coffee breaks or breath breaks. It will be better because we have limited time for the agenda. If you don't want to have dinner at 10 p.m., we need to go coffee break for right now. And during the coffee break, you can find Nina, and please, I think she will answer all of the questions.
I'm 20 dakikamız var. 20 dakika içinde tekrardan salonda aynı şekilde bulmak istiyorum size. Akşam yemeğinin çok geç saate sarkma olasılığından ötürü 10 dakikalık son break iptalini ve Body Family'nin akşam yemeğiyle birleşmesini talep etmekteyiz. İYSN Kıdras Üretim Kurulu adına Sayın Bölümü Enes Akoğlu. Evet. Şimdi bu durumda zaten bir akşam yemeğine zaten 25 dakika falan 25 dakika daha erken çıkacağız. Bunu kabul ediyor musunuz? Ajandayı da açmamız gerekiyor. Hayır durun arkadaşlar, tamam kabul ediyorsunuz. Öyle yapacağım. Direkt halkın adına söyleyeceğim. Arkadaşlar, burada zaten 20.55'te break vardı. Bunu iptal edip, ayrıca buradaki 15 dakika Body Family'yi iptal edip sessizliği sağlayabilir miyiz lütfen? Çünkü oylama yapılacak az sonra. Direkt akşam yemeğine geçeceğiz. Bu durumda akşam yemeği kaçta başlıyor? 21.40 gibi başlıyor olacak. Umarım ki sunumlar hızlı biter. Kabul etmeyenleri görmek istiyorum önce.
Hayır diyen var mı?
Bir tane. Çekimser. Bir kere kaldırabilirsin. Tamam. Kabul edilmiştir.
31 evet. 32. 31 evet bir hayır. Kabul edilmiş.
Teşekkür ederim. O zaman ben direkt mi yemek Arkadaşlar bu arada kusura bakmayın, biz öğle yemeği yemedik. Şu anda sunumlar devam ederken biz yemek yeme durumunda kalacağız. Ama DK'mız zaten sunumlarını yapacak şimdi. Önergeler var ama ondan önce bu saymanlığı seçilmesinden ötürü bir sunumu olacak. Ve şimdi ben tekrardan tebrik ederim.
Merhaba. Bu sunumun sebebi öncelikle sizlerden bir destek bekledikten sonra, seçildikten sonra hemen kaçlı olmasın tarzında sizlere bir teşekkür mahiyetinde buradayım öncelikle. Bugün bu sunumu Zagreb'de neler yaşadık, bu süreç nasıl gerçekleşti ve sizleri de bu sürece heveslendirebilmek adına bir sunum yapmak istedim. Daha açık olabilmesi açısından. Bir kere tıklayabilir misin ikinci ekrana? Evet, ben Ayberk. Nevşehirliyim. İYSSU çıkışlıyım. Aynı zamanda Romanya'da deprem ve depreme dayanıklı yapı tasarım üzerinde yüksek lisans yapıyorum. Erasmus'um da orada. Gerçekten sunum master'ı orada yapmak istedim. Aynı zamanda güzel Türkçe konuşamıyorum. Bunun etkisini hem yurt dışında yaşamam hem de Nevşehirli olmak. Büyük bir ağız ve büyük bir yabancı dil etkisi yaşıyorum. Eski tanışımda şu anda seçilmiş sayılır. TC'sine başlayacağım. Bu proseste neler yaşandı? Öncelikle bir community meeting yaşadık. Burada gördüğünüz turuncu yerler motivasyon, sarı yerler benim bilgi alanlarım ve yeşil yerlerde gerçek hayat durumlarıydı. Yani bizim meşguliyet durumlarımızdı. Tabii ki saymanlık başlayınca otomatik grafiklere dökmek istedim sayıp durumları. Öncelikle community meetinglerde çok YSN'le ilgili kalmamıştı. Başkanlık görevimi Ali'ye devrettikten sonra birazcık uzaklaşmak istedim aslında ama tabii ki başaramadım. Biz her zaman YSN'i güzel bir kara delik olarak adlandırıyoruz. Ne kadar çıkmak istesek de daha içine düştüğümüz için bu durumlar böylelikle gelişti. Steve Sofya, Brüksel'deki şey, aynı zamanda benim Brüksel'e gidip Insight'teki bu durumları öğrenmemden ötürü motivasyonum ve ilgim arttı. Gerçek yaşamda birazcık düşmüş oldu. Zagreb açısından çok güzel bir toplantı geçirdik. Seçimler çok güzel bir şekilde sonuçlandı. Bütün board tamamlanabildi, yeni board pozisyonları tamamlandı. Çok güzel kararlar alındı. Bunun yanı sıra biz yeni board olarak yerimizi aldık orada. Ağustos ayında başlayacağız hep birlikte. Bu seçildiğimiz andı bizim. Ve bu da benim resmi duyurumdu. Burada sizlere birazcık çalışma düzeninden bahsetmek istiyorum. Adaylık sunumunda da bahsettiğim gibi benim asıl konularım networking, YSN kart, Erasmus Generation Store ve bizim paralı servislerimiz olacak. Bu konuda çalışmalarımızda tabii ki ben sorduğunuz soru üzerinde non-EU country'lerde daha fazla ilgi alanı ve daha fazla ağırlık vermeyi düşünüyorum. Çünkü ben de oradan geldiğim için bizlerin bu konuda yardıma ihtiyacı olduğunu düşünüyorum. Burada benimle birlikte çalışabileceğiniz konular genel olarak ESN kartı olacak. Şubeler olarak bize yardımcı olacaksınız. Siz olmadan bu işin olmayacağını tekrar hatırlatmak istiyorum. Ve ESN kart aslında ESN'in en büyük silahı. Ne kadar hep birlikte çalışabilirsek bu kartın gücü artacak ve biz dış bağlamda biraz daha bağımsızlaşıp bu kartın pazarlamasını daha iyi yapabileceğiz. Bu pazarlama sayesinde de sizin ESN kartınız güçlendikçe yapacağınız bütün bürokrasi işlerinde daha güçlü bir silaha sahip olacaksınız. Bunun yanı sıra Erasmus Intern, Erasmus Job. Burada hepimizin aradığı işler oluyor. Belki bazen staj arıyoruz. Bu konuda Türkler özellikle zorlanıyor. İnanın bahsettiği gibi Avrupa Birliği vatandaşı olmayan insanlar bazı stajlara seçilirken problem yaşıyorlar. Ama ESN'in bu konuda iki farklı servisi var. Burada Erasmus stajlarınızı veya bu aradığınız işleri bulabilmeniz adına bu servislerin biraz daha yaygın ve daha öğrencilerin kullanımına açık şekilde olmasını sağlayacağız. Aynı zamanda bunların şirketler tarafından paralı servis olarak yapılmasından sonra daha kaliteli servis sunumu sağlanacak. Erasmus Generation Store'un büyük bir yeniliğe ihtiyacı olduğunu da düşündüğümüz için bu konuya ağırlık vereceğim. Yine ile birlikte çalışacağız büyük ihtimalle bu konuda. Aynı zamanda networking'imiz özellikle ben yani taraflı olur olmaz şu anda çeviriyorlardı aynı zamanda ama bizim tarafımızda biraz daha ağırlıklı olacak şekilde tüm üyesini hükmeden bir yapı düşünüyorum. Peki, beni geçin. Ben bu işi çözdüm diye. Siz katılmak ister misiniz? Bu konuda benimle birlikte çalışacak kişiler, ben bu sunumu aldığım zaman Financial Officer'ın bir fotoğrafı yoktu. O yüzden özür diliyorum kendisine şimdiden. Benimle birlikte çalışacak kişilerde bir Community Manager var, bir ESN kart koordinatörü var. Aynı zamanda Business and Finance Department'da sizin katılabileceğiniz bir dijital marketing intern pozisyonu var. Kendinizi bu konuda yetkin hissediyorsanız ve bu konuda bir staj arıyorsanız benimle birlikte bu konuda çalışıp hem Erasmus Generation Store'da hem yapacağımız paralı servislerde hem de ESN kart konusunda çok güzel bir yolu birlikte kat edebiliriz. Bu size hem Brüksel'de bir yaşam imkanı sağlar hem de sizin vizyonunuzu ESN'le birlikte genişletmenizi sağlayacak. Peki, bu durumlar size uzak geliyor ama section olarak heveslisiniz. Ne yapabilirsiniz? Gördüğünüz gibi community toplantılarımız var. Daha önce Bükreş'te gerçekleşti. Ben 4 konu toplantısında finance tarafında head of office'iydim ve bu konunun Bükreş'e büyük bir güç kattığını gördüm. Sadece Ekim'de bir adet heves ile 4 toplantıyı Bükreş'e getirmemiz, oradaki 3 section'ın daha sonrasındaki 9 ayda insan kaynağı problemini çözdü ve şu anda tekrardan onu 3'e katladılar. Siz de Business and Finance konferansı kendi şehrinizde, kendi şubenizde hostlayabilirsiniz, ev sahipliği yapabilirsiniz. Bunun yanı sıra bu size ne getirir? Hem bir international görünürlük, hem belki birazcık yapacağınız akıllı bütçeyle size kar getirebilir. Bu karı kendi ESN işlerinizde kullanabilirsiniz. Aynı zamanda sizin uluslararasılaşmanızda okulunuzla birlikte yapacağınız bürokrasilerle sizi biraz daha ileriye taşıyacaktır. Bunun open call'u hala devam ediyor. Buna bir OC gelmedi ve bunun seçimi genellikle ESN International tarafından veriliyor karar olarak. Buna başvurmanız gerçekten çok büyük. Yapabiliyorsanız 4'ünü birden, yapamıyorsanız bir tanesine başvurabilirsiniz. Peki sonuç olarak neler olabilir? Burada Nena'nın da bahsettiği gibi asla kendinizi aşağıda görmeyin. Ben de böyle görüyordum ilk başta. Ve sonrasında bu maceranın daha ileriye taşınabileceğini anladım. Bu olayın gerçekleşmesindeki ilk sebep buna heves etmeniz olacak. Bir şey istediğinizde başarabileceğinizi söylemek istiyorum. Ve ESN Türkiye'nin çok büyük bir potansiyeli var. Bizim burada çalışma düzenimiz birçok ülkeden daha yüksek seviyede. Çünkü bizim eğitim etkinliklerimiz çok fazla, bizim ulusal kurullarımızda etkinliklerde eğitimler devam ediyor ve bizim insan kaynağı geliştirmede büyük bir gücümüz var. Sonuca bağlamadan önce sizlere bana verdiğiniz destekler için teşekkür ederim. Aynı zamanda kendimi geliştirip 2 sene sizlerden daha iyi destek alabilmek adına da elimden gelen her şeyi yapacağım. Bu macerada benimle birlikte yürüdüğünüz için, beni desteklediğiniz için, inandığınız için teşekkür ederim. Aynı zamanda bütün network'e teşekkür etmek istiyorum, tüm international'e. Beni de dinlediğiniz için teşekkür ederim. Umarım bu hevesiniz devam eder ve sizleri de orada görebiliriz.
Evet, çok güzeldi. Teşekkür ederiz. 3 dakika erken bitirdin. Soru cevap için şu anda ben soru görmüyorum speaker liste. Yes. Soru yazan var mı başka? Yoksa sadece bir tane sorumuz var. Ve tekrardan tebrik ederim. SPM'de güzel bir sunum yapmışsın. Seçtiğin için ayrıca daha da mutluyuz. Rica ederim.
Sorsun sonra yazmaya devam etsin.
Karışıyor. Zaten şu an sıkıntı yok, zamanımız var. Yazan o yazsın, ondan sonra yazan yok değil mi o zaman? Şu an kapatacağım o zaman. İtiraz yok, kapandı.
ESN kariyerlerini takip edin. İnanın da bahsettiği gibi esn.org/careers. Mutlaka. Ne kadar çok izler, o kadar çok bağır. Unutmayın. Bu böyle işliyor şu anda.
Mahdi geldi sorun.
Geldi mi?
Aha. Ben okuyayım mı oradan? Tamam, okuyorum direkt. Önceki seçildiğin için seni canı gönülden ve şube banında tebrik ediyorum. Umarım dilediğim ve planladığım bu programları gerçekleştirip network'ümüzün güçlenmesi adına sağlam adımlarla ilerleyebilirsin. Pandemi sonrası ESN International finansal olarak nasıl altyapı problemleri var ve bunları uzun dönemde nasıl değişimleri öngörebiliyorsunuz? Doğru okuyabilir düşünüyorum.
Öncelikle bu konuda adaylığımda da 53 sorudan bir tanesi buydu. Yani 1,5 saat süren bir soru cevap seçimi yaşadık biz adaylık sunumunda. Ben artık titriyordum ve tansiyonumun düştüğünü hissediyordum. Şimdi pandemi sonrasında şöyle bir sorun var. Bu pozisyon bir sene boş kaldı. Ve burada benden daha önce muhteşem çalışan bir sayman vardı. İnsanın öncelikle bu standartı yakalaması gerekiyor. Ben bu standartı yakalamak adına gerçekten ağır bir şekilde çalışmayı düşünüyorum. Hatta şimdiden biz International takımları, open call'ları için konuşmalara başladık. ESN Card Koordinatörü ve Community Manager'la birlikte bunun planlamalarını yapıyoruz. Bence ekonomik kalkınma öncelikle güzel bir planlamayla başlar. Biliyorsunuz ki bir International Board seçildiğinde projelerin genelde 2 veya 4 şekilde yapıyor. Benim ilk planlarım arasında başlayacağım ilk 4 ayın planlamayla geçmesini planlıyorum. Ondan sonrasında da bunların aksiyona geçmesi gerekiyor. Tabii ki bu planlamaların yanı sıra benden önce gelen proje programların ilerlemesi için elimden gelen her şeyi yapacağım. Birazcık kendi adaylık sunumunda da bahsettiğim gibi network'e verebileceğim dokümanlarla birlikte yerel seviyeden kalkınmayı başlatabilirsem ulusal seviyelerin kalkınmasını, onlar da bizim kalkınmamızı sağlayacaktır. Benim bütün mottom